What's up, everybody? I'm Dreadful Gooz. I'm here at Murder the Mix Studios. I'm witty, I'm pretty, and I'm from New York City. Now, I can't fix a car, but I can sure as hell show you how to play guitar. Today, we're going to be talking about picking mechanics. Let's get it. Hopefully, you saw my last video on how to hold a pick, and if you haven't, it'll be on a card somewhere up here. So make sure to check that video out because there's some cool stuff that's not only for beginners. So definitely take the time to watch that. Now, once again, we're going to be talking about the picking hand. I'm sure you've heard some athletes talk about form. It's kind of the same thing that I'm going to be talking about today, but in reference to guitar playing. Keep in mind, everyone is different. Everyone's got different sized hands. Some people hold the pick differently. Some people play with the guitar down to their knees. However, I've taught these concepts to some of my students over the years, and many of them have benefited from it. So hopefully you will too. Now we're going to talk about what I refer to as the pocket. Every guitar has one. However, it's different depending on what bridge and pickup configuration your guitar has. On this guitar, I have a Kaler tremolo system, so let's take a closer look and see what I'm talking about. Now, my goal with showing you this stuff is to help you get a tighter rhythm and a tighter lead sound. When I talk about the pocket, I'm talking about the area in between your bridge and your bridge pickup. On this Kaler tremolo system, you see my saddles here. However, you see that the string extends further, which is why I want to point out that the pocket begins where the string leaves the saddle. To me, the pocket is super important, especially in the world of high gain heavy metal, because if you use this concept correctly, it really helps you tighten up your playing, both on the rhythm side and on the lead side. Now, the concept of the pocket is very simple. It's a neutral resting place for your hand that allows you to mute strings on the fly. It also allows you to switch positions and to mute different sets of strings. And when you're doing things such as what I was doing in the opening part of the video where I was tapping, it allows you to do what you have to do on the tapping part of the fretboard and then quickly have a place to reset your hand. Now, the good thing is that you don't have to stay within the pocket. You can venture further back behind the saddle and you can do things such as tremolo picking without having to mute, or you can still shift positions without muting strings. The next thing I want to talk about is the different parts of the arm, how they relate to guitar playing, and how to stay relaxed when playing fast or difficult passages. I've always had a very aggressive picking technique, and when it comes to my playing, I've noticed that I shift the majority of my energy and my strength to different parts of my arm in order to stay relaxed and be able to perform and practice for hours on end. For more of my heavier rhythm playing, such as power chords and tremolo picking, my wrist does the majority of the work, mainly due to the movements being slightly larger and requiring a bit more strength behind the picking to get the desired sound. When it comes to more melodic lines and solos, such as the one you heard in the beginning of this video, most of my energy is diverted to my index and thumb, or as I like to call them, my fine tuners. I call my index and thumb fine tuners because this concept reminds me of that of a Floyd Rose, where you have a locking nut and you have a locking tremolo system. When you want to make sure that your tuning is just right, you do have these little things called fine tuners to make sure that you can just tighten up your tuning. Now, shifting the majority of my energy to my fine tuners allows me to play more fluidly, and when you use all the parts of the arm in conjunction with each other, you're able to power right through the strings with as little as effort as possible. It's time to talk about the dreaded elbow. In episode 1 of Goozman's Dreadful Guitar Tips, I said that the elbow was not the place that you want to draw the majority of your speed and power from. The reason is it can cause you to actually play sloppier and slower because you're going to end up having a stiffer arm. However, sometimes you need a boost. So I mainly use my elbow to shift positions. Let's take something like sweep picking. When it comes to larger sweeps like that, such as 5-string and 6-string sweeps, you need to be able to shift positions in order to block out all of that extra ringing, and that's where I use my elbow. Sometimes it's a more dramatic motion, other times it's a little bit more subtle, but that for me is the main function of my elbow when it comes to guitar playing. I started this video out explaining the concept of the pocket. Again, it is so important because it allows you to use your elbow and your palm in a way that allows you to conserve energy and provide you with a comfortable resting place for you to use the right amount of strength and shift positions without hurting yourself. The last thing I want to talk about is the shoulder. No one ever takes the time to mention the shoulder. If you noticed, I'm always playing when sitting down in the classical position. And what I mean by the classical position is, I mean with the guitar in between my legs as opposed to being on my hip like this. I always try to keep my shoulder tucked in because I don't want to stretch it out or cause it to tense up by moving it away from my body. The whole shoulder thing may seem pretty basic, but you'd be surprised as to how many intermediate and sometimes even advanced players that tell me that they feel pain and discomfort when playing. And most of the times, it's either due to bad posture or shoulder positioning. Remember, before it gets to here, it starts here. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow all my social media links down below, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Peace.